It's time for the Snap.Build cast, your podcast focused on home builders of all sizes and offering professional views of experts in the home building industry, from financing to final walkthroughs. Thanks for joining us. Let's get building.
Welcome back to Snap.Build cast, and we have Lee Kaplan, CEO of Snap.Build, and today we're going to talk about market factors when it comes to residential home building. So market factors that affect construction, right? Interest rates, housing shortage, inflation.
All the fun
because
stuff.
All the stuff you hear in the news all the time that it's all awful and bad. But those are kind of the market factors when it comes to home building, lenders to end users, sellers, buyers, right? It's always interest rates, the shortage of houses, and inflation that have this like hurricane effect on the business. But it's not always a negative thing, right?
No, I mean, listen, I'm the first to tell you what went on prior to this, the last handful of years, was overblown. And I mean, incredibly profitable. A lot of people made a lot of money, but that could not sustain itself in a never-ending way, which I think some people thought that would be the case. I think people have gotten themselves in trouble by, let's say, buying property or buying land at the very top and now they're having to give some of that back. I think corrections are needed. I don't think the market's in this incredibly dark place. I truly don't. Inflation's a factor. Inflation affects the rates. The feds keep going up, and so you got to adjust accordingly. People that run good, clean businesses, not just us, but builders that have run businesses like that, those are the ones that figure out a way through this, and it's really important. Lots of newbies jump in when things are like they were that last handful of years.
Right, they're seeing people do it.
They're
Hearing stories. The people are making money. It's so easy to do. Right?
I call it a driveway conversation. You know, it's Friday and you're watching your kids play out front. You're standing in your driveway. Your neighbor comes over and tells you how smart he was because he just did a fix-it-flip and made $50,000.
Right.
So now you want to do it.
Right.
And
then you find out it's not as easy as you think.
It's not easy at all.
Right.
I mean, it's just really not. And I think what happens when these types of things happen and it starts to correct, it just kind of peels the onion back and gets everybody out that really shouldn't have been in it in the first place, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So rates are affected. It goes up. That changes things, changes anything all the way through the daisy chain, all the way to us, right? And trying to get money out on the street. But you adjust accordingly. And that's what we do. I'm still bullish. I'm still lending like crazy. We tightened the reins, but honestly, our system is fairly tight anyway. So we thrive when things go we struggle, to be honest with you, Michael, we struggle when the market has a bunch of loose money.
Right.
Because of how we run our program. But when it's things like this, we feel really good about it. And I can account for every nickel, and all our homes that we have funded are being built on time, on budget. And then the big questions becomes, how do you get guys out of the houses, right? Whether they're selling it to a consumer or a build-to-rent fund or however it's going to be, and we help them with that too.
Right.
And so you just think
and getting back to, regardless of the market conditions, the builders that are doing it right, have their ducks in a row, are, in it for the long haul, want to build more houses. I mean, that's their business, right? So regardless of the environment, they still want to build houses. They're still looking for funding. They need the money to keep it going for their business.
Builders have to build.
Right.
I don't care what the market's like. That's how they make their money.
Right.
Builders have to build. Lenders have to lend. So on and so forth. And so as we're getting new clients in the door and we start to do an underwrite, that's what we're looking for. We're looking like, can this guy or lady get through a tough market? Did they go through 08? Because everyone got hurt there.
Right.
But I've seen a lot of really good builders that have learned how to navigate. They're buying they were buying the land 3 years ago at the right number, not crazy inflated prices. And that's what a lot of the people that make mistakes, that's what they did.
Right.
And so those are the things we just kind of got to look out for. But hey, listen, I think inflation will cool. We will be fine. I just look at this as truly as it's another bump. You adjust accordingly and you keep moving. And by the way, you keep lending.
Yeah, and that's all. It's funny because you hear people from the stock market, right? They're always talking about we've been through this before, right? So this is just another, we've been through this before. It's, in my opinion, it's America, right? It's always going to get better. They're going to figure out a solution. The companies, the private organizations are going, they have to, right? They have no choice.
The bottom line is there aren't enough homes for people in this country. Period. That is the bottom line.
Yeah.
Whether they're renting or buying or whatever, there literally is not enough rooftops for all the people.
Right.
So they've got to live and go somewhere.
Yeah.
Now you got to be more selective. You got to be very careful. But like, it's not like there's an oversupply of inventory.
Right.
If there was, that'd be a completely different conversation. Now, one of the things I'm paying close attention to is the jobs market, because that does affect it, right? If people don't have money to rent places or buy places, then that's a different conversation. So we always keep an eye on that. But all in all, I'm just not afraid of the things going on. I just look at it as a natural correction,
right.
Adjust accordingly, and keep moving.
Right.
Be nimble.
And the housing shortage is interesting because it lends itself to opportunity, right? I mean,
there is so much opportunity for people that have the stomach for it. And some people don't. And like me, all the banks, at least all the ones that I know of, and I've got a lot of friends on that side, have all cut off lending till the end of the year. And now what's going to happen between now and the next 6 weeks to make them more comfortable, I would tell you probably not a whole lot of change. But that, banks are very conservative by nature, and banks don't make more money for taking more risk. They're risk adverse.
Right.
And so that's just a natural evolution of when things go bad, what happens. So, like I said, it gets rid of a lot of people. I see that as a ton of opportunity to get market share, to get better quality builders, to really grow your business. But
and at the end of the day, these companies, these builders need money, right? I mean, they have to get the funds to do what they do to grow their own business.
They do. Or
so they're looking for it regardless of market conditions.
Right. One of the things I realized early on in this business was, builders can go do their own stuff and use their cash, but they all hate using their own cash. So as we designed our system, it's very cash flow friendly. Like we don't really ask the builders to put in any money, bring any money to the table, any money to close. We don't do any of that. And that was all with the idea of like, listen, and that's why, Brad, who's my, guy that runs the entire field for us, he was a builder.
Yeah, right.
And so as we designed the program, he said, let me tell you what builders will go for and not go for, because he did it for 40 years.
Right.
And he goes, they hate using their own money because they always think the sky's falling.
Right.
Or they want to be able to go get the next thing, whatever the next thing is. And so we worked around some of those things.
And from a builder's perspective, how does, like we talked about technology in the last podcast a little bit, but like how does technology play into the modern builder, right? 20 years ago or 10 years ago, like, technology is always moving forward and in every industry, right? Yeah. You see doctors now, you go to the doctor's office, they're on their iPad or they're dictating, everyone's always looking for ways to make things more effective, better communication. So how does technology play into the modern builder?
Well, it plays into it in a variety of ways, but the biggest one to me is just efficiency. If you can get in front of somebody and show them technology that lets them build more houses, that's what we're trying to do.
Which creates more revenue.
Of course. Yeah. More houses means more money. And with our system, and again, I'm not going to get into a big pitch about our system, but our system is designed to help them become extremely efficient. And a lot of that's just making sure that when draws are due and it's time to pay bills for those builders, that the money is sitting there and waiting and they don't have to jump through a million hoops. It's like good to go.
Right.
And I think we do that really well.
Yeah, and also technology is meant, it could be a burden at times, but it's also meant to take away mental anxiety, mental stress, right? The automation aspect of it, regardless of industry, is something can get accomplished without you manually needing to do it.
Well, and one of the things as I got into this business that I heard was I met with builders and I would ask how they did simple things like paid their bills. And they'd be like, well, you know what, I work all week and then Saturday night I sit with my wife at the kitchen table and we go through everything and I write checks and I do this and do that. And I was like, really?
That's not a good Saturday night.
That's not a very good, your wife. I mean, you would be married for a long time and she's cool with that.
Yeah.
And we've eliminated all of those types of inefficiencies. And we've done a pretty damn good job about that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Lee, thanks again.
Michael, thank you.
Awesome chat around market conditions, technology, and always about builders. So
always.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.